What started as minor frustrations behind the cameras soon erupted into full-blown chaos when Kody Brown's infamous temper boiled over. Sources close to the production reveal that his on-set meltdowns became so frequent and intense that TLC was forced to step in, not only to keep the show on track but to protect the wives and children caught in the middle of his storm. What began as whispers among the crew of Sister Wives has now erupted into a full-blown scandal that has fans stunned and insiders speaking out. Kody Brown, once the patriarch at the center of TLC's long-running polygamy docuseries, has been accused of losing control behind the cameras to such an extent that production crews and even network executives were forced to step in to safeguard his wives and children from the fallout of his outbursts. The revelations paint a disturbing picture of a man unraveling under the pressures of fame, family conflict, and personal failure. According to multiple insiders who were present during filming, Kody's temper, which fans have seen flashes of on-screen for years, escalated into something far more volatile once the cameras stopped rolling. While the series has never shied away from documenting the emotional struggles between Kody, Christine, Janelle, Mary, and Robin, what wasn't captured for the audience was the level of chaos taking place behind the scenes. Crew members describe moments of shouting so loud it shook the walls of production sets, arguments that left wives in tears, and heated confrontations that had to be carefully edited out to protect the show's image. The situation reached a boiling point during the filming of later seasons, particularly as Christine prepared to leave the marriage. Kody, unable to accept the unraveling of his once unified family, allegedly lashed out not only at his wives but at production staff tasked with keeping the show moving. Producers, who had once relied on Kody's larger-than-life persona to fuel ratings, suddenly found themselves forced into the role of mediators and, in extreme cases, protectors. Sources say TLC executives were made aware of the severity of the problem when crew members reported feeling unsafe, and wives requested that certain arguments not be filmed for fear of the impact it could have on their children. The network's intervention reportedly came in the form of tightened security measures on set, revised filming schedules designed to minimize tension, and even counseling resources offered to family members. One insider claims that at one point TLC brought in a professional mediator to de-escalate situations when the shouting reached unbearable levels. For a reality show that has thrived on family drama, the line between entertainment and genuine danger had suddenly become too blurred to ignore. Fans of Sister Wives have long debated Kody's temper, with many pointing to his confrontational behavior toward Christine and Janelle as red flags. Viewers recall moments where Kody raised his voice, belittled his wives, or stormed out of conversations, all under the guise of raw honesty. But the latest bombshell reveals that what fans saw on screen was only the tip of the iceberg. Behind closed doors, the meltdowns were reportedly darker, louder, and far more frequent. Children were said to have been caught in the crossfire, with some refusing to participate in filming during the most heated episodes. The fallout has not only damaged Kody's reputation but has also caused irreparable strain between him and his family. Christine, who has been candid about her decision to leave, allegedly confided to friends that the toxic environment became unbearable, particularly when cameras stopped rolling and the facade of control fell apart. Janelle, too, is said to have clashed with Kody repeatedly over his anger, describing him as someone who lashed out instead of listening. Mary, already emotionally distant from Kody, withdrew further, while Robin, often accused of enabling Kody's behavior, was seen pleading with him to calm down in moments that crew members say were never allowed to air. For TLC, the scandal raises difficult questions about the ethics of reality television. How much dysfunction is too much when family safety is at stake? Where is the line between storytelling and exploitation? Insiders suggest that network executives debated pulling the plug on the show altogether but ultimately decided the ratings juggernaut was too powerful to abandon. Instead, they worked behind the scenes to mitigate the fallout while continuing to market Sister Wives as a raw, emotional glimpse into plural marriage. Now, as season 20 looms with promises of even more explosive revelations, fans are left wondering just how much of the reality they've seen has been sanitized for TV. Kody's on-camera meltdowns were enough to shock audiences. The truth of what happened off-camera may be almost too much to bear. The Brown family, once presented as pioneers of modern polygamy, now stands as a fractured symbol of how fame and pressure can erode even the strongest bonds. With Christine thriving in her new marriage, Janelle finding her independence, and Mary charting her own course, Kody appears increasingly isolated. Robin, his last remaining wife, continues to stand by him, but even her loyalty has been tested by the weight of his behavior. Question now is not just whether Kody can hold on to the fragments of his family, but whether TLC will continue to support a man whose rage nearly jeopardized the very show that made him famous. This bombshell marks a turning point for Sister Wives. What was once marketed as a bold experiment in family unity has become a cautionary tale of ego, control, and the dangers of unchecked emotion under the glare of reality TV cameras. Fans will no doubt continue to tune in, but behind the drama lies a chilling truth. Kody Brown's meltdowns didn't just change the dynamic of the show, they changed the lives of everyone around him. Quiet hum of cameras rolling on the set of Sister Wives was once meant to capture the rhythms of an unconventional family trying to navigate love, faith, and identity. But in recent seasons, what should have been reality television's behind-the-scenes harmony has turned into something darker, more unsettling, and far more dangerous. The center of this storm stands Kody Brown, the polygamous patriarch whose temper and emotional unraveling grew so alarming that TLC executives were forced to intervene, not just to keep production from collapsing, but to shield wives and children from the fallout of his outbursts. For years, viewers have seen glimpses of Kody's fiery temper. His confrontations with Christine, his arguments with Janelle, his icy distance with Mary, and even his clashes with his beloved Robin have played out on screen, often leaving fans divided between sympathy and outrage. But sources inside the production insist the public has only seen the edited, manageable portions of Kody's behavior. Away from carefully chosen camera angles and producer-controlled cuts, the reality star's meltdowns reportedly escalated to such extremes that TLC could no longer turn a blind eye. Crew members describe moments when tension boiled over into shouting so intense it rattled the set. One insider claimed that in the middle of filming a heated discussion about Christine's decision to leave, Kody erupted in a tirade so sharp that children nearby burst into tears. Producers, caught off guard, were said to have immediately stopped filming, asking staff to escort the younger family members out of the room. "It stopped being television," the source explained. "It became a crisis. Problem wasn't just an isolated event." Reports suggest that Kody's volatility became a pattern, triggered by the crumbling of his marriages and the growing resentment from his older children. TLC, which has built its reputation on controversial yet captivating family dynamics, suddenly found itself grappling with a much bigger issue: the safety of its cast. While reality TV often thrives on drama, there are limits to what can be aired and limits to what families can endure. Insiders reveal that production meetings shifted from planning storylines to strategizing how to keep both crew and family members out of the line of fire. Protective measures were quietly introduced. TLC allegedly restructured filming schedules to minimize family gatherings where Kody's temper was most likely to flare. Children were given the option to skip scenes, with producers making accommodations to keep them away from high-conflict moments. In extreme cases, network representatives reportedly stepped in mid-shoot to calm situations that threatened to spiral into chaos. It was no longer simply a matter of documenting a family's struggles, it had become about preventing emotional harm. Fans, of course, saw only fragments of this reality. They witnessed Kody's frustration when Christine walked away, his anger at Janelle's independence, and his heartbreak over fractured relationships with his children. But what viewers didn't see were the countless times producers had to cut cameras, usher children to safety, or counsel wives through tears once scenes wrapped. Behind the glossy marketing of Sister Wives lay a far more troubling truth. The man at the center of the show was losing control. For Christine, the breaking point came not just from years of neglect and disappointment, but from an environment where shouting and conflict seemed to outweigh compassion and compromise. Janelle, who had long balanced independence with loyalty, reportedly grew weary of Kody's escalating anger. Mary, already on the periphery of the family, became more withdrawn as the atmosphere grew heavier. Even Robin, once Kody's strongest supporter, was said to plead with him in moments of rage, urging him to step back before things got worse. TLC's decision to intervene shines a harsh light on the blurred lines between entertainment and exploitation. How much dysfunction can be broadcast before it becomes unethical? Where is the balance between showcasing reality and protecting participants from harm? These are questions the network has been forced to reckon with as Kody's behavior continues to dominate headlines. As the franchise moves toward new seasons, the scars of these meltdowns remain. Christine has rebuilt her life with a new husband, radiating joy and freedom in her social media posts. Janelle stands firm in her independence, carving out her own path away from the toxicity. Mary, too, has embraced a life outside of Kody's shadow. Yet the shadow of what happened behind the cameras continues to haunt the story. For the children, some of whom have publicly distanced themselves from Kody, the lasting impact of those on-set outbursts is still unfolding. TLC, meanwhile, has leaned into the drama for ratings while walking the delicate line of responsibility. Executives know the explosive revelations draw millions of viewers, but they also know too much exposure could backfire. By quietly increasing protections while maintaining the storyline of a family in crisis, the network has tried to manage both sides of the storm. But the truth has a way of surfacing, and now fans are demanding to know just how much was hidden from them. The narrative of Sister Wives has shifted dramatically since its debut. What began as a portrayal of unity and faith has unraveled into a cautionary tale of fractured families, unchecked egos, and the dangers of putting personal lives under constant public scrutiny. Kody Brown, once the charismatic leader of a plural family, is now a man defined by his meltdowns, his estranged relationships, and the network's need to protect others from his temper. The latest revelations confirm what many fans have long suspected. The drama on screen was only half the story. Behind the cameras, a much darker struggle was unfolding, one so serious that TLC was forced to step in. And while the show will continue to captivate audiences with its tales of heartbreak and resilience, the scars of those outbursts will remain a haunting reminder of the cost of reality TV fame. Cameras of Sister Wives have always captured family conflict, but what they didn't reveal may be even more shocking than what viewers saw. For years, fans watched Kody Brown wrestle with his collapsing marriages, his children pulling away, and the mounting chaos of his plural household. But according to insiders, the real storm wasn't confined to the carefully edited episodes aired on TLC. Behind the cameras, Kody's meltdowns reportedly became so volatile that even the network, famous for showcasing dysfunction, was forced to step in and draw a line. Production staff, who once admired Kody's ability to command attention and bring drama to the show, allegedly began dreading days when filming required his presence. His temper, described as unpredictable and explosive, created a tense environment for wives, children, and crew alike. Shouting matches weren't uncommon, but as the years went on, the intensity escalated to a level where producers had no choice but to stop filming entirely. One insider described the atmosphere as walking on eggshells, explaining that crew members learned to anticipate the cues of an incoming outburst, clenched fists, raised voice, and sudden storming out of a scene. The breaking point reportedly came during the family's most turbulent years, when Christine made the life-altering decision to leave Kody. While cameras captured her announcement and Kody's furious reaction, insiders claim what was aired was only a fraction of the chaos. Camera, Kody allegedly unleashed a tirade so heated that crew members had to physically separate him from the argument, while Christine walked away in tears. The children, some of whom were nearby, were quickly removed from the set to prevent further distress. It was in that moment, sources say, that TLC executives knew a new boundary had to be set. For a network that has long thrived on drama, from family feuds to shocking revelations, drawing the line was no easy decision. Yet the risk of allowing Kody's meltdowns to go unchecked was too great. Insiders claim TLC implemented new filming protocols to protect the wives and children, including staggered filming schedules and tighter controls over what moments could and could not be captured. While fans were still treated to explosive confrontations on screen, the most dangerous and damaging moments never made it past the editing room floor. What fans didn't see was the toll this chaos took on each wife. Christine, who has since flourished in her independence, reportedly told friends that the on-set tension was unbearable and that she feared for her children's emotional well-being. Janelle, who always tried to balance practicality with patience, grew weary of Kody's inability to control his temper. Mary, already living like an outsider within the family, retreated further as the household grew more volatile. Even Robin, often painted as Kody's most loyal supporter, was said to be shaken by the intensity of his outbursts, privately pleading with him to calm down when things spiraled. For TLC, the chaos raised serious questions about the future of sister wives. Could they continue to build seasons around a man whose anger was pushing away not only his wives but also his children? Would fans continue to watch if they knew just how dark things had become behind the scenes? The network's decision to continue production while drawing invisible boundaries has left many viewers wondering how much of the real story they've been denied. What makes this revelation so powerful is the contrast between what was shown and what was hidden. Viewers saw Kody pacing, raising his voice and storming away from conversations, but behind those moments lay an intensity that simply couldn't be broadcast. TLC, known for pushing the limits of reality television, made a rare decision to protect its cast from further exposure, revealing just how dire the situation had become. Now, with Kody increasingly isolated, Christine happily remarried, Janelle standing firm on her own, Mary charting a new course, and Robin left as his only wife, the cracks in his once commanding image are clearer than ever. What was once portrayed as a bold experiment in love and family unity